Good morning and welcome to the porch. Well, this morning it's kind of an exciting day for me today, and let me tell you why I say that. I got to order a tool yesterday that I've been wanting for a few years actually, and in the past I just hadn't been able to justify it. Now, let me explain what that tool is, and then I'll talk to you a little bit about what this video is actually about. The tool, being a bead roller, it's made to make floor pans and different types of panels for some of the antique cars and trucks that I do. And and they're a little bit spendy, not bad, but a good one can run you anywhere from $250 to, probably close to 1,000, depending on what you get. But something happened the last few days that helped me to be able to make a decision to buy that thing yesterday, or at least order it. And part of what I want to talk to you guys about this morning is analyzing things in life. It's going to be more of a business type scenario today, but it applies to pretty much anything you do. And I've talked on this some in different ways and different perspectives, but I'm going to talk to you this morning about just analyzing it in your head, more or less. So let's get started. So what I was doing, I guess it was yesterday. Yes, yesterday. I was on Facebook just looking at things and drinking my coffee, kind of old man stuff. It's kind of part of my morning ritual. But anyway, Eastwood had put an advertisement on there for a bead roller. And that thing, they were going to do a Black Friday thing on it. $149. At over 200 ordinarily. Now it costs quite a bit to ship these guys too, just so you know. But anyway, I'm looking at it, and I knew I had about 3, maybe 4 jobs out here right now that I needed panels for. So I thought, well, can I really afford to buy that right now? Can I justify it? Now I could afford to buy it. I couldn't afford to buy one of the real expensive ones, but I didn't need that. But I could afford to buy it a lot of times. But that I don't buy things just because I have the money. I have to, in my mind, I have to justify what I buy. It just makes me feel better if I can do that. So we started doing a little bit of analyzing on whether this was a good time to buy that or not. And let me just walk you through kind of how that process worked. I looked at the panels that I was going to have to buy, and somewhere probably between $600 and $800 worth of panels that I was going to have to buy. Now, one of the problems you have is you may not need a full panel, but you have to buy a full panel. And I don't like to weld a full panel in a truck or a car if I don't need it, because it puts a lot of extra heat in that metal that you don't have to put in there. So one of the things in analyzing, I thought, okay, number one is the price is really good on the Black Friday deal. Number two is when I look at these panels and I can make a half a panel, it's just a big labor advantage for me and material advantage as well. So what I thought about, I thought, well, I got a lot of this stuff to do, and this may be the time to buy this bead roller. Of course, this is just part of the analyzing of it. And I thought, well, what's the return on investment, the ROI we used to call it in business? How fast can I pay for this thing? Well, here's the really good thing about this is I could actually pay for that thing on one single panel. And I got at least 6 panels to build right now, but I could actually pay for it and even make money on that single panel with that thing. And here's how that happens. That panel runs about $250 to buy it. So we're analyzing. I can buy the metal for that panel for about $15. Well, I can make that panel in probably an hour. So looking at all of that, I could actually figure out that I could buy the bead roller, pay for the bead roller, and make about 5 or 10% on that particular panel, making that panel. And then everything else I do from there on out, it's not free, but it's pretty doggone close to free. And what I mean by that is I could buy the metal for all of this stuff for probably $100 instead of $600 or $800, and then I can make the panels the size I want, the type I want. And in this case, I'm going to use a little bit heavier metal on these panels just because I can now, rather than buying a panel, I can choose the thickness of metal that I want to use. So I'm going to thicken that metal up just a little bit. So after analyzing and all of that, it became apparent that the most foolish thing to do is not buy it. I mean, seriously, there's some times when you put off doing something to where it just absolutely becomes foolish. Now, I haven't had this opportunity to buy one of those and justify it in years. But yesterday, when I analyzed all this and understood what the profitability was on buying this thing, it became very apparent to me that if I didn't buy it, I wasn't very smart. So I went ahead and bought it. Now, some people might say, yeah, but did you buy it out of a want? I wanted it 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, but I wouldn't buy it because what few panels I was making would be one small panel here and there. Just wasn't enough to really justify it. But fortunately, the good thing is the timing was right because I had lots of panels to build. I'll more than pay for it. I can do a lot better work on the stuff that I'm working on, look a lot better, be a lot stronger. A lot of advantages to doing that. Now, you may say, well, Paul, what's that got to do with us? Well, here's what it's got to do with you. Everything in life you need to analyze. There's so many people today, they'll just see something and it's a Black Friday sale. And my gosh, they'll just go out of their minds and buy it whether they need it or not. They stay in the box for 5 years after they buy it. I went to town yesterday just to kind of give you a little bit of an example of that. I just need a couple of pieces of sandpaper, and I went to town to get it. And oh my gosh, it took me 2 hours to get through town just to buy a couple of pieces of sandpaper. Because why? Black Friday. People were just buying everything they could, and I'm going to say a lot of these things people didn't need. Maybe they did need a lot of them too. I don't know, but I'm going to bet that there was a lot of stuff sold yesterday people didn't necessarily need and probably couldn't afford really. So anyway, the whole thing of this video is just analyze it. Use good common sense. Analyze what you're going to purchase and whether it'll do you any good or whether it's going to be something you're going to buy and use one time and put in the shelf and you've spent way too much on it. If it is, don't buy it. And if it's something you're going to use like I just described, buy it and smile real big because you're going to get a new tool into a man. That's pretty important stuff. All right, guys. As always, we here at the Porch love you guys. We appreciate you viewers and hope we say something that'll, if we'd like for it to help you, but if nothing else, I hope it entertains you. All right, guys, God bless and have a good day.